Hello and welcome to Charon's Obol. Charon's Obol is a web browser video game that you can play the demo prototype at imtar.com. Just if you're not here already, that's a complete URL that will take you to this playable game in its current prototype state. So we have a fully functioning prototype of the battle engine. You create a custom party, and you can start right away. Before I do that, I want to explain the game premise. Let's just pick the early game battle while I keep talking here. So Charon's Obol is very loosely based on Greek mythology. It's a very fun, dynamic setting that's very inspiring for many games. And Charon's Obol is about what happens in the Greek afterlife. So in the Greek afterlife, when you die, you end up on the bank of the river of Styx, and you need to cross the river to get to your desired afterlife. To do this, you have to pay the ferryman with a coin, and somebody had to put that coin in your mouth before they buried you, or else you just won't have the coin. Well, Charon is just the name of the ferryman, and the coin is called an obol. So that's where the name comes from. Uh, it's kind of interesting that that's sort of a little known terminology, both of those words, but the story itself is quite well known. So how is this setting reflected in the gameplay? Well, first of all, we need a mission. Well, we're not just out of luck. The gods like to play games with us, and they're going to send us on this ridiculous quest. Uh, we have to slay the powerful three-headed guard dog Cerberus and take the opal from his collar. That will satisfy Charon because he's a big joker. He likes to troll people and see what happens, and that's what we have to do. So the fact that we are in this afterlife means that spiritually everything is a little bit fluid, and the gameplay is uh, is this sort of very flexible. It's based on souls, and that is where all your classing and multi-classing comes into play. So I'm going to add a unit, create a blank unit. This is sort of a nobody who has no soul, but the big mechanic here is that you could have 0 souls. You can have 1 soul. You can even have 2 or 3 or even more souls, all just in the same vessel. And that and so if you could put multiple soul, you could put 1 soul in each vessel for your party, or just 1 or 2 units with a lot of souls as you get farther along. That's where all your multi-classing comes from. Because when you graft a soul, you passively get increases in multipliers. Here, I'm investing into melee, but I get this when I do that. I get damage reflection for free. That's because I have the soul of the Minotaur. Uh, so usually you would only get 4 melee per point invested, but here sometimes I get 5. So I get a bonus multiplier to melee, and I get a cross multiplier. I get bonuses to damage reflection. So every soul is like that. You get various uh, multipliers and cross multipliers. You get all kinds of perks, and you get 2 or 3 unique abilities, and sometimes you even get unique passives, which is neat. Like Zombie Mozart has a unique passive that causes him to any damage that he takes is converted into poison, which means that the damage doesn't hit him all at once. It becomes damage over time instead, which is extremely advantageous. But there are various penalties associated with that. But the Minotaur, he's a little bit more straightforward. He's just really good at melee. So for some of these more sophisticated mechanics, I'll do a follow-up video. But for here, I just want to do some of the really basic stuff. So we're in the battle engine right now. I don't own any consumables, so I can just dismiss that if I want. I'm not going to spend any more spirit points, but you can spend spirit points during battle, which is kind of interesting. But let's just collapse it down to skills. The dot stands for minor action. Star is for major action. You have one of each every battle round, and some of your more powerful abilities use both of them. So, for example, I can't block and berserk in the same turn, but I can guard and do a basic melee attack in the same turn. That's totally fine. But I'm just gonna go berserk because I'm a minotaur. That's what minotaurs do. The second turn, the knight's almost dead. I think a basic melee attack is going to be good enough, so I'm gonna guard. See what the mage does. Maybe I'll take reduced damage. Well, it's my turn again. The knight just guarded, so I didn't get to actually block anything, but that's okay. Still get the kill. Gonna go back to berserk. Um, And there you go. A very powerful early game unit, this Minotaur. So early game fights, typically not quite so hard. Uh, so it's a nice little demonstration to sort of get used to sort of how that kind of works. I'll slow it down and dig into some of the mechanics next time. But that was the premise. Thanks for watching. I hope I managed to pique your interest. All right, so. All right. Have a good day.